What's going on, guys? You're watching the Shieldbearer Faith channel. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to quickly cover the stand your ground laws. These are by viewer request. Let's get into it. So in general, stand your ground law means that you do not have the duty to retreat from a violent encounter wherever you had the legal, lawful right to be. So if you're on a street corner, if you're in your own house, if you're in your car, and you get attacked, you could defend yourself up to including lethal force. So in general, some of the pros I see: less victim liability, specifically in the court system. If you are covered under the law of stand your ground and you did not retreat from a situation, I think that you're taking some of the burden off of the victim in the courts, and I like that, because just because you survived a violent encounter does not mean you will leave the court system unscathed. Can we all agree on that? I think it in general promotes self-defense. Second Amendment advocates and self-defense advocates like the stand your ground law because you can stand and not have to back away from an assailant. At face value, I like that because, again, if I'm being attacked, I would rather not have to run the other direction in all circumstances. And what I mean by that is, if I have children, can we all agree that would change things? That fleeing would not be as easy or possible even, and you may have to stand your ground and defend your children to create that separation, to keep the suspect from getting to your loved ones. Right? I like the fact you would not have to flee. Otherwise, I actually like the option of fleeing because in general, we would hope to not be involved in a violent encounter at all. Okay? That keeps everybody safer. I think in general, it can deter crime as well. If a suspect knows that you can defend yourself up to lethal force, are they going to be as likely to try to do something violent to you? Maybe not. How about some cons? Overall, I think you can have an increased loss of life. By overall, I mean the suspect and the victim both have life value. Okay? I think in today's culture we have lost the value of a human being somewhere along the way, but spiritually, life has value. So if you don't have to think about being as liable in court, and if you do not have to run away as best you can, you're going to have more deaths in most cases because you can more easily go to the gun with justification. Okay, my big dilemma here, though, is I think it will cause some people to more rapidly escalate to a lethal force option. Most of us are not walking around on the daily with less lethal and lethal options. So you're not walking around usually with OC spray and a gun. You're usually doing one or the other. Well, if you know that you're covered legally, if I get punched in the face or pushed, and you think that under this law you're covered to pull your gun out, are you? Are you ethically covered even if you're legally covered? Can we all agree that just because something is legal does not necessarily make it right, or ethical, or moral, right? So I think that's a possibility. In police work, we are trained to de-escalate situations, and we're trained on force escalation. So if I get pushed or punched in the face, that does not mean that I can immediately pull my gun and engage that person with a lethal force option. The everyday Joe, I don't think is going to have that mindset, and I don't think they're going to have the training and the mental awareness to keep themselves from doing that. So on one hand, I fall in the middle on this. On one hand, I like the options where it promotes self-defense, takes away as much liability in court, but I do think it requires a lot more common sense and a lot more user awareness of this law, because I don't like seeing these news reports where somebody got shot because they pushed a guy, but at the same time, I don't like reading the news reports where John Brown was in his home where his kids are and somebody got really, really hurt by an assailant because he wasn't sure if he was legally justified. So generally, I like the law, but it needs common sense applied. Alright guys, I hope it helps. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you later.